In today's tutorial, we're going to be answering our second exam-style question on partial fraction decomposition. Now, if you're looking for a more detailed explanation about how to answer these questions, I'd suggest watching my first video on this topic, which you can access by clicking in the top right-hand corner of this video. Now, without further ado, let's answer today's question. Now, express this fraction in terms of partial fractions for 4 marks. So the first thing I'm going to do is just write this fraction out again. So the numerator, so that's going to be 8x squared plus 7x minus 25. And then the denominator, x minus 1 squared, x plus 4. So the first fraction is just going to be the x minus 1 squared. Second fraction is going to be without the squared, so just x minus 1. Third fraction, x plus 4. For our second step, we're going to times through by this denominator here. So we're just going to times through by x minus 1 squared, x plus 4. So left hand side, we're just going to be left with 8x squared plus 7x minus 25. First fraction, x minus 1 squared cancels, leaving just x plus 4. Second fraction, we'll still have 1 x minus 1's left over, and then x plus 4. And then finally C, we're going to have the x minus 1 squared left, which I'm going to write fully like this. So now for our x values, I'm going to put in minus 4 first, so that we can find C as our first letter. So I'm going to say let x equals minus 4. So for our left hand side, I'm just going to sub in minus 4 squared plus the 7 lots of minus 4 minus 25, and we are finding C because A and B is just going to cancel out. So C will be minus 5 minus 5. And if we do the maths on the left hand side, simplify this, we get 75. And on the right hand side, we just have 25C. And if we divide through by 25, we can see that C would be 3. So that's our first letter that we found out. Now for our second letter, I'm going to sub in 1 so that we can eliminate B and C and hence find A. So I'm going to say let x equals 1. Switch over to green and obviously sub it in. Left hand side, that's going to be 8 times 1 squared plus 7 times 1. So that should be 1 minus 25. And as I said, B and C is just going to cancel out, so we can find A. So that's going to be 4 plus 1, which is 5A. And once again, left hand side, that's going to be just minus 10 and 5A. Divide through by 5, we can see A would be minus 2. And with that, we can now find our final letter, which is B. And I'm going to do that by saying let x equals 0. And left hand side, we're just going to be left with minus 25, because anything else times 0 is just going to be 0. First first expression, a x plus 4. So a was minus 2, x plus 4. So that's going to be 0 plus 4, which is going to be 4, plus b, which is what we're finding, and 0 minus 1, so that's just minus 1, and x plus 4, which is just, when we put 0 in, that's just going to be 4. Finally, c is going to be 0 minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, and simplify this down, minus 25, you get minus 8, minus 4b, when we times minus 1 twice, we just get positive 1, so that's going to be, and we know c was 3, so that's going to be just 3, and further simplifying this down, so we're just going to get minus 25, and we get minus 5, minus 4b, and let's take the 5 over, we will get minus 20, and minus 4b, and finally divide through by minus 4, we get b as just positive 5. So we found out all 3 of our letters, and I'm just going to write this down again. So a, minus 2, b was 5, and c was, I believe, 3, that is correct. And finally we can write our new expression down. So if we go back up to our question, we can see that we're going to write this now in partial fraction form. So we had 8x squared plus 7x minus 25 over x minus 1 squared, x plus 4. So a was minus 2, and that was over the x minus 1 squared, plus b, which we found is now 5, over x minus 1, and finally c was 3, and that is over x plus 4. And that is our final expression to answer this question. Now if we go back up and see where our marks are coming from, so we've got 4 marks, and so first mark, a method mark, is going to be for writing this expression down, so that's 1 mark there. Second mark is going to be for writing the next line down here, so that's another mark here. And the final 2 marks is where we combining all these 3 steps here, we're putting x values in to get a, b and c. So that's our final 2 marks, so we can get our 4 marks for this question. So that's how you answer this question on partial fractions, and I hope that was helpful.